Merhaba arkadaşlar, welcome to Ottoman Turkish Learning. I'll be your host, Osmanlıca Eğitim. And to write my name in Ottoman Turkish, you write Osmanlıca Eğitim. Okay. And today we will be going over the vowels in Ottoman Turkish. I would like to begin with short vowels. There are 3 of them, canonically speaking, in Ottoman Turkish. One is üstün, second is esre, third is ötre. Alright? Now, there are 2 more, but don't want to talk about those right now. These are the 3 main ones that I'd like to touch upon, because these are the ones that make up the backbone of the vowel system in Ottoman Turkish. We have the phonetic values of these are as follows. E, or a, as in the word her. I, as in the word imam. This is ü, as in the word büyük. Now these are the 3 canonical values of the 3 short vowels of Ottoman Turkish. Now, if you're familiar with the Ottoman Turkish alphabet, you might be saying, "Wait a second, this isn't right. You're missing, like, maybe 5 other different vowels. This can't be it." And you'd be correct. But for our purposes, I highly encourage, especially with new students, for you to take this approach and understand the short vowel system like this. And don't confuse yourself with any of the other values. Just üstün, esre, and ötre. They take, as far as you're concerned, they take these 3 values. All right. Now let's take a look at a few words that use these. With regards to üstün, the word ben, which means I. Ben. With regards to esre, we have biz, which means we. Biz. For ötre, we have, as I mentioned, büyük. Büyük. Although this may not be a good example, I can give you another one. Gül, which means flower. Alright, so ben, biz, and gül. So these are the 3 vowels, e, I, and ü. Now, in words of Arabic origin, you may see ötre being used for ö, and you can see this in the word şöhret. Şöhret. I encourage you to think of this as a separate vowel for reasons I'll get into later. I use, personally, a non-standard symbol. I like to write it like this, to stand in for O. It's the same as the ötre, but the direction is reversed. Alright? So şöhret, written like this, would be şöhret. And there's a üstün in there as well. Şöhret. Now, so we have, these 3 values, and you can call it meçhul ötre or mixed ötre. The wording comes from Arabic and Persian, where majhul vowels are used to describe a second reading of the letters vav and ye. I'll get into these later. These are long vowels. You don't really need to worry about these right now. Just focus on these 4. Üstün, esre, ötre, and then the mixed ötre that I have over here, used to represent the letter Ö in Turkish. So now you should understand how these work and the sounds that they represent. Now you may be saying, if you know anything about Ottoman Turkish, that I'm missing out on 4 other vowels. And you're correct, I am. However, I am of the belief that that is a counterintuitive and counterproductive way to look at it. And I'll get into why in a minute, but these 4 vowels, this is the phonological value it'll take in neutral and in soft environments. Now, what do I mean by neutral or soft environments? And if there's a soft environment, there must be a hard environment as well. So basically what I mean is that Turkish has something called vowel harmony, right? And in vowel harmony, every word must adhere to this vowel harmony. So this basically means that every native Turkic word must have only the vowels of one set. You're only allowed to contain one set of vowels. It could be any one of these 4 vowels, but it's only allowed to contain one of these. If the vowel harmony for that word is hard. If it's soft vowel harmony, that would be E, I, Ö, U. Alright? Most of the short vowels that we have up here, these are soft vowels. They're classified as soft vowels. I, or E, I, U, Ö. Alright? In soft and in neutral environments, these 4 vowels, üstün, esre, ötre, and then the mixed ötre that we have over here, these are the values it'll take. It's only in hard vowel harmony environments that they end up changing their pronunciation. So let me make a chart here to simplify things for you. Üstün, esre, ötre, then the mixed ötre down here. So if we have the soft environment, that would render letter E. It's either soft or neutral. So neutral. Soft or neutral environment will give you E, I, U, and Ö. Now, if it's a hard vowel harmony environment, it'll give you A, O, O. So how do you tell whether a word is either soft, neutral, or hard? So Ottoman Turkish uses a consonant system rather than distinguishing their written vowels. Ottoman Turkish, as you can see here, very plain, very easily you can see that it doesn't distinguish between these vowels. Ü and U are written the same exact way. I and are also written the same exact way with the same exact vowel point, with the esre. So this can become problematic, right? How can you tell which vowel you're using? This comes down to the consonants. So there are 2 sets of vowel harmony determining consonants, right? I like to break them down into the phonetic and then allophonic consonants. And here's what I mean, right? For phonetic vowel harmony determining consonants, these consonants will occur at every single point where they will naturally phonetically occur. This is what I mean. If you have a word which in the Latin alphabet, in Turkish, has the K in 3 places, right? Let's say it's a 6-letter word. It begins with K, 3rd letter is G, and then the last letter is also K. if this is a hard vowel harmony, if the vowel harmony for this is hard, then you will see the hard version of all of these consonants wherever they occur. Now, this may sound really intuitive to you, but I promise you it isn't. And this is the reason why. Let's take another hard vowel harmony word. Right? Again, let's go with a six-letter word. And it begins with T. Okay? And T is one of the letters in Ottoman Turkish that has both a soft and a hard variant. Right? Okay, so we begin with the hard variant of T, right? But let's put T as a third letter and as the last letter as well. What do we see? We see the soft versions of T actually being used in the rest of the word. Now, there's an important distinction to make here, right? There's certain letters that will retain their vowel harmony value throughout the rest of the word, no matter where it occurs. And then there's a certain set of letters that lose it after either the first, second, or third position, wherever it may come first. After it's occurred, it's done for. And usually, if it isn't the first letter of the word, it will already have lost it. So let's say we have a hard vowel harmony. Again, misspelled hard. Let's go for 5 letters, simply because I have a real. That's correct. Right. Let's say it begins with B, and then has A. Right. As if you remember, A is one of the hard vowels. Right. B-A-T. Despite the fact that this is the first time T is occurring in the word, it will actually still take the soft version, despite the fact that it is also a hard, the vowel harmony for this word in particular is hard. Now, this may make very little sense to you, but the reason this is because in traditional Turkic or in older Turkic languages, the hard and the soft versions of these letters had phonetically different sounds than they do now. Today, the soft and the hard version of K, there's a minimal difference. And with T, there is no difference. They're pronounced the same exact way. This was possibly done as a stylistic choice. There are many theories as to why this is, but what you need to know is that there are 2 sets of consonants. The vowel harmony determining consonants that do not change their appearance and do not change regardless of their position, and then those that lose it after beginning a word with it. Okay, so what are these? Here, the vowel harmony determining consonants of Turkish are as follows in Ottoman Turkish. So the phonetic ones are phonetic K, G, H, and as a special case, we'll have L. We'll just put it off to the side just so we can recognize its special status. And I'll put a line here to further segregate it. Now, let's take a look at the hard vowel harmony versions. For K, we have the letter Kaf. Looks like this. Okay. This can also be transcribed as a Q. You usually see it transcribed as a Q for Persian and Arabic and Urdu. Less so in Turkish, almost never, because again, Turkish is written with the Latin alphabet. There's no need to create your own transcription system. So the hard version of the letter G is Guf. Guf. All right. The hard version of the letter H is H. H. I'm going to leave the letter L alone for a little bit. We're going to come back to that later. So now the soft versions of these letters are as follows: kif, gif, and hi. Okay? So no matter if all of the word's vowels are hard vowels, these three will be used wherever these three hard consonants will be used wherever these three show up. And same with soft. If the word's vowels are all soft vowels, these three will be used. Okay, and remember, the hard vowels are u, o, and e, i, u, ö. Okay? So with regards to L, they're written actually the same exact way in Ottoman Turkish, and there's no distinction made. However, there is a phonetic distinction. There's a phonetic distinction between all of these consonants, whether you know it or not. The only case where that may not be true is with the letter H. It's been my observation and my impression that speakers of the Istanbul dialect of Turkish do not pronounce either of these with any difference whatsoever. But if you go maybe toward the western parts of Turkey, you may hear difference, but it's entirely subjective, and it's just a observation I've made. But these four rather, there are phonetic differences between these. Even if the average Turkish speaker may not initially realize that, if they pay a little bit more attention, they'll come to see that. Same with the L. Despite the fact that Ottoman Turkish was pretty good about these other consonants, it wasn't as good as with the lateral. But there are two variants of this nonetheless. This is the dark L that we have in English, like in the word ball. It can be transcribed in the International Phonetic Alphabet as such. And this, of course, is the normal L, like in the Turkish word gül. You see this mostly in soft vowel environments. Now, I have a personal system to differentiate these. And if I can just move the camera a little bit. I like to write this one with a caron facing down. Now, I like to write the soft L with a caron facing up. Now, this actually isn't all too important for Turkish texts. You'll see this become more important with foreign loanwords, such as those from French or Arabic or Persian. This is not that important for Turkic words. So you don't need to get too caught up on that. All right, let's go back to the consonants. Now, I'm going to start talking to you about the allophonic. These are phonetic consonants. There's a phonetic difference between them, between these, except for maybe the H, but that varies. But by and large, there's a phonetic difference between these. Oh, I spelled it wrong. Between these consonants, there is no phonetic difference. So they're all pronounced the same way, right? Let's make our chart again. Letter T, D. I guess I should be consistently capitalizing them. That's my bad. T, D, and S. And then again, we do have a special case for Z. I'll get into this one later. I'm going to leave it off to the side for now. So, hard, soft. So for T, the hard version of T is T. The soft version of T is Te. Well, technically it's written with two dots on top, but you can just make these into one line. It'll look like this, or it should rather. The hard version of D is also written as T. It's written with the same letter. No, your eyes are not fooling you. It's the same exact letter. You think this is a problem, but it actually isn't, and I'll go into why that isn't in a little bit. But the soft version of D is De. Okay. It looks just like an arrow pointing to the right. The hard version of S is S, I believe. Not too sure. Soft version is Sin. Like this. Okay. Now, I'm going to get into why the T and the D are the same. This actually doesn't cause any problems. I would encourage you, if I'm wrong, to point out to me in the comments section if you can think of a word that has hard vowel harmony in which the T and the D need to be distinguished to change the meaning of the word. Please do so, because I haven't been able to find any meaningful distinction between the hard T and the hard D in terms of meaning. They seem more or less interchangeable. So, what do I mean by allophonic? As I showed previously, a word with hard vowel harmony will lose its variant after the first letter. So let's look at an example, shall we? Let's look at the word doru. For those of you who speak Turkish, I'm well aware it's spelled with the U, but let's use an I for now. I have a special reason for doing this. And by the way, just one more thing I wanted to point out. The Turkish letter yumuşak G is also written with guf and gef. Both of these letters, the normal G and the yumuşak G, they aren't distinguished in Ottoman Turkish. They're both written the same way. There's a hard version of the yumuşak G and the soft version, just like there is a hard version of G and the normal G. The hard and the soft G. So let's take a look at doru. Right? Begins with the D. You can tell by the vowels, again, hard vowels and soft vowels. O is a hard vowel, okay? Is also a hard vowel. So you know, it's just the hard vowel harmony is taking place here, and we can take a look at this T, or this D rather. This is what we use, right? So, Vav is used for the letter O. I'll cover long vowels in the next video, but for now, just know that this is the O. D, O, G, I. Do, ru. Doru. Okay? So, this is all fine. Starts off with the D. It's a hard vowel harmony word. This is what we use. There's no problems, right? So let me give you another word. Taslım. Okay? It's my dear, or some such word. It's used for affection. Okay? T, elif. So what are we seeing here? We're seeing taslım. There's two T's. We used a hard vowel harmony T in the first letter, but we used the soft version in the second. This is the trend with all of these allophonic consonants. You don't tend to use these outside of the first position or the first letter of the word. It just doesn't occur. So the word sus, for example, there are multiple ways to write this, but I think the most popular one is sus. Okay? Start off letter again. Remember the U. This U is the hard vowel. Oh, sus. If it's a hard vowel harmony word, you use the hard S, but you end on the soft S, because again, it's allophonic. After the first position, it's just dropped, and everything is written normally. You can think of these as akin to uppercase letters. They only occur in the beginning of a word. And if you're outside of that position, things may get a little hairy. you have the word note. Now, this is not a Turkic word, to be clear. It's usually written like this. Note, nun, vav, t. This is an exception. I wouldn't encourage any new learners or readers to take a look at this word and draw conclusions on spelling rules based on these types of words. You also have the word balta. Balta. That's a B, by the way. B, elif, lam, t, he. Balta. This is an exception. Again, I do not encourage you to simply sit down and try and memorize where these occur. You will know, but I think that a better and more helpful rule is to accept that you use them like capital or uppercase letters and use them just at the beginning of a word. And if they're not at the beginning of the word, then don't bother, okay? I think that's what I wanted to cover for now. Going back to our short vowels of elif, üstün, esre, ötre, and the mixed ötre. I will go over how these can achieve their hard vowel harmony sounds. Because remember, I told you these pretty typically take on the soft vowel harmony values of e, I, U, and Ö. I would just like to point out or reiterate that this is a non-standard symbol. You will likely never see this in any Ottoman Turkish text. This is a symbol I made up, or rather I ported from another language, and it's simply to help new learners become more accustomed to the Ottoman Turkish alphabet by representing this. I don't think it's helpful to represent both U and Ö with the same vowel marking, although that is what the Ottoman Turks did. Both şöhret and, the word büyük or gül were written with the same vowel marker, which is this ötre. But I believe that's counterproductive. There's a fifth vowel marker that I would like to introduce to you later. It's what I would like to call the mixed esre. I simply invert it like this, but it's not important for now. It's just sort of more of a technical thing, or me being a little pedantic, but don't bother with this, not for now at least. But the two symbols are not standard. I just made them up myself, but I will believe they're useful tools to help beginner learners on how to read more effectively and how to process the logic of Ottoman Turkish spelling rules more effectively. Thank you very much, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video.